Ham, Kish, Nimrod blood, which is what we call today the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, right? The political, Zionist, Khazarian, those are all parts of it.
Speak a little louder. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Oh, I didn't realize we were live. Hey everyone, we're broadcasting here from the Boca Raton event. So to continue to answer your question, so there are also the benevolent secret societies, and those are the ones that have been related and associated with the order of Melchizedek, which comes from the lineage of the original 12 tribes, King David, Solomon, and of course later Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Martha, Joseph of Arimathea, and then later they reorganized during the French years, right, in France, as you know, the Holy Grail. So those are the two brotherhoods, and technically it's also the battle of the bloodline. So you have the Khazarian Zionists that originated in Babylon, that are in control of the world today, trying to pose as Israelites, by the way, right? They're trying to say we're the real Israelites, but they're really not. You know, they suffer from a high concentration of reptilian genetics, right? That's what makes them evil. It's all genetic programming. And then you have the good bloodline, which are the children of the seraphim, of the original guardian races, which come from the heroes of old, the children of Zeus. And then, of course, we know that Zeus came from the bloodline of Michael. And that gave us the Holy Grail. And so Princess Diana and Trump, whose son, by the way, is Baron. It's going to be another revelation soon. Disclosure takes place. They're all descendants of the bloodline. And that's why throughout history, there's always been a battle between these two brotherhoods. And in that battle, you know, you have the two bloodlines. And in terms of the Old Testament, they talked about the War of the Kings. Well, the War of the Kings was based on how the Illuminati Babylonian bloodline always tried to do away with their counter bloodline, which is the lineage of the priest king, original, you know, high priest, high priestess lineage that came from Abraham, his 12 children, and then of course later it concentrated with King David, you know, who carried the highest concentration of that gene, right, the Lyran Syrian gene. And then through his son Solomon, we had Joseph and, no, I'm sorry, Mary, the mother of Jesus, who came from the bloodline of Solomon. And now they are, you know, they say that they are living among us now. Their descendants are well and alive, and they live.
Is Yeshua non-terrestrial?
Joshua, yeah, he comes from the, he's a Syrian from the High Council of Syrians. Yeah, he comes from the lineage of Michael, or the Lyrian royal blood. So I come to discover that the lineage of King David is actually the same lineage being reestablished on our planet from Lyra, from the original 12 houses of Lyra, the original 12 houses of the Elohim Elohai, which were the, you know, the sons and daughters of light, who were always at war with the children of darkness, which are the reptilian dracon, children of Zeus.
You stumped me a little bit on the Princess Diana gown. I can't say too much now. I'll say it after. But can you just go a little further into that? Like, I don't know
Sure.
what you're saying about that.
Okay, so the best way to describe this is that in order to maintain a pure lineage or a pure concentration of a certain blood type, they have to intermix. So because Princess Diana had a very high concentration of the bloodline of King David and Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which, by the way, that's the reason why they tried to kill her. And by the way, they failed. They failed. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is going to come as a shock reading to a lot of people. Right? And because Trump is a heavy carrier of the same lineage, in order to produce a more pure son or daughter, they had to come together. So that was orchestrated by the members of the Melchizedek branch of the White Brotherhood, which we call today the Whiteheads. Those are associated with the Whiteheads. And Baron is pretty much, you know, the end result of this lineage that came from King David.
So where's Melania from?
Melania also comes from the bloodline. She's actually a Pleiadian, by the way. She is a non-terrestrial, and she plays the part. She plays the role of not wanting anything to do with Trump, but that's all part of the illusion. But she's really protecting him, regardless of what the fake news Mockingbird media says. She's actually a Pleiadian princess, and she's there to protect Mr. T, because it has been prophesied that Mr. T would return for a second term. And a lot of psychics and clairvoyants, or mediums, they've all kind of confirmed that he's coming back.
Is it true that they have visited the Federation? Both of them?
Yes, absolutely. So do you guys remember about 2 years ago when that whistleblower from the ex-Israeli space program came out, Ashim Ahmed or something? And it was all over the news, by the way. And he kind of spilled the beans. He said, there is a federation of ETs. Trump knows about it. Putin knows about it. We know about it. And the only reason we haven't revealed this to the general public is because the ETs themselves from the Federation believe that the human population isn't ready. Not ready. But that was like 2-3 years ago. But because there is this factor of time acceleration, time speeding, 2024, I'd say maybe 2024 will be the year of disclosure. That's when the good aliens are going to say, okay, humanity's ready to understand that we exist and that we are here and that we have been assisting them, neutralizing all of the nuclear warheads since the 50s. There's been many reports that these ETs have nullified and disabled a lot of these nuclear plants. In other words, they've been preventing the Third World War since the 50s. And that's the only reason why we're still here, because we're at the finish line and they don't want to see their project, right? We're, their children. They want to see it come to fruition without any interference.
Did Obama attempt to create a third world war?
Absolutely. Not only him, but the Bushes too. Yeah. That's why that whole thing in the Middle East was supposed to be a trigger. The way it was laid down by members of this cabal, I'm referring to Albert Pike, who was a high-level 33rd degree Freemason. He talked about this stuff. He said that there are 3 methods in which we, the elites, are going to achieve the Third and Final World War. And by the way, First and Second World War, very orchestrated. I also revealed that in my first book, The Secret Government, which will probably be released sometime in 2024, early 24, guys, by the way. I'm trying to read this book. But he laid it out. The first one is going to be the instigation between Russia and the United States, which was the Cold War. They failed. The second one was going to be the instigation between Islamic terrorist groups and us, which they failed. And by the way, we do know that those Islamic terrorist groups were all educated and, or you could say, created by our own CIA. So we've always been the #1 terrorist, right? Shadow government, not us, the shadow government. And the third, if those 2 methods failed, the third one was going to be Israel. That's why they say Israel's the final, attempt to instigate a Third World War. And of course, they had to come up with another method just in case that failed, and that's what they call Project Bluebeam.
Yes.
But the Galactics are not going to allow that to happen. At that point, there will be divine intervention. If they try to use their holographic technology, right? They already have that tech, right? Where you see it on reels, right? Well, all of a sudden things come out of you're at a stadium and everyone's dancing and this thing comes out, just goes off into a portal. It looks so real. That's the same technology that these, whatever you want to call them, psychopaths, were planning on using to stage the second coming of Christ and forcing us all into the one world fascist superstate.
Yeah.
But of course that failed.
Bishop, we have time for like maybe one more question because we want to make sure we have time that everyone can talk to you, get a picture, get a autograph.
Of course. Okay. Go ahead.
Did JFK die, and is JFK Jr. still alive?
Absolutely. No, he didn't die. He's still alive. Yes.
JFK Sr. still alive?
Well,
And
Yeah.
Jr.?
Remember when Trump was doing his second State of the Union, and there was this old guy in a wheelchair with a little beret hat, and he was hunched. He was really old, and he was like this. And Trump came up, and he went like this. That's it. That's it.
But he didn't die in January 2021? I know, I thought he did too.
Yeah, I've heard he's passed.
Oh, January 2021, old age, yes, but I thought you were saying in 1963 in Texas.
He did not
old
die.
age shock. He survived that. Because, yeah, the White Hats time traveled before the Dark Hats did, so they were able to secure everything before it happened. They already knew that was going to happen. And that's the only reason why he lived to an old age. And then what we're also going to do after the question is, for those that want to share their story on camera, we are broadcasting on all my platforms. Come up and please, share whatever it is you guys want to share, any experience, anything. So I take one more question and then we can proceed with that. Go ahead, sir. Are there light? Yes. Some of the reptilians, in the initial stage of the Galactic Wars, some of the reptilians that did not agree with what they called their protocols or their creation, which was to dominate the entire galaxy, defected from that agenda. But that was only like 3%. It was only a small number, and they've been living free from the Empire ever since. And in some cases, still actually join forces with them. But yeah, so. But unfortunately, the greatest number of the reptilians, because it is groomed, or you can say programmed in their DNA, to the urge for power, manipulation, and dominance and exploitation.
Are all of the civilizations basically like us everything that's existing that you know?
At some point, yes, duality existed. Again, the forces of light have been cleansing. You can say eliminating the dark forces from the highest dimensions. Now they're getting ready to finish the job here. But at one point, this board you can pass harmonic inverse 1, 2, and 3. It all began from another universe known as the 11th creation. So it all began on the 11th dimension, and since then, forces of light have been kind of narrowing the board. So now it's finally come to our dimension where we're finally going to be witnessing the victory of light, which has already happened. So what happens in the higher dimensions reflects in the lower dimensions, right?
We just have to hang on.
This is it. Victory is here. So maybe we have time for two people. Before I do the book signing, we have time for 2 people to share their story. Come on.
No, it's a question.
Sure.
I heard one of your lectures about fighting, 100 being different superpowers. Have you ever had your foot or a dream on the moon of Jupiter or somewhere out of our galaxy, like in Neptune, Rochester? Have you ever gone to another place?
I'm sure I have, but I have vague memories of that. Again, a lot of our memories were completely wiped out from our conscious mind, of course, not our sub or unconscious mind. But because I do meditate, I'm able to access just glimpses of those memories. But I'm sure I have.
So you're not off fighting in some form on these wars, like you said, with the superpowers.
Well, not in this form. I mean, yes, I still look the same, but I'm using more genetic material. I think I was able to use up to 50-60% these other universes, and I do remember being like Black Adam, like just having electricity running through my body. My body was indestructible. I was also able to control the weather. I was also telekinetic from a distance. I could crush things, move things from a distance. What else? There was a few other abilities I just can't recall, but it was similar to Black Adam. But that's just me using 50-60%. And of course, when they bring us back to this realm, they shut that off. They deactivate that part of ourselves, and they bring us back to like everyone else.
So did anyone want to share like their awakening? At this point, we have time maybe for one person, because I really want to make sure you all get a chance to get a book signing and a photo with Ishmael. So just for time-wise, does anyone want to share? Everyone wants that book signing. All right, so what we'll do at this point, do you want to just say goodbye to all your friends?
Actually, do you mind if we continue during the book signing? I mean, we're going live.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I just have to get all the books in. I'm going to move the table. So what I'm going to need from you guys is a little bit of patience. I need you to line up, like maybe, or do you want to just do it per row? What do you want to do? So we don't want to move. We'll do it per row. Is that better? So I just need to move this, and then you want to bring the books. Yeah, all right, if you go over it, we have it. Yes. Ishmael, go to the right there, to the right. Right. Right in there. Employees also swear, yeah. I just Looks like I'm getting, I have to do
And then, as well, do staff and get a picture. Yeah, so we're gonna do a picture with you and Ishmael. And then what we're gonna do is
You know what? Let's do that. Let it be top.
so then what we're gonna do is, you know,
Alright. So does he have a special pen? I'm sorry, does he have a special pen or do you need a pen? Okay, I don't know if you need something.
you want to? You want to go first?
First? No. You're on. Here, and then you guys will sit
If you want to, that's fine. If you want to take the pictures and just email them to me, or do you want me to? It doesn't matter.
Alright. Ready? Sorry, ready? I think so, right? I think it's also, do you want to use your phone too, or no? I don't know, you go. You know what looks like me too?
What you got there on your phone there, buddy?
There you go.
I was reading.
This is the Rancho book.
The Rancho one. Oh, that's a long one.
I've read it's a 2000-page book. I've read it for 50 years. That's what he talks about.
Over and over and over, huh?
50 years. It took me 10 years to read it the first time. He discusses when he starts talking. He says, I'm talking about the Rancho people.
Yeah, I think he digested it in about 3 months. This guy.
I read it in a month. Like,
Huh?
because it's on Earth, and I listened to like 3 hours a day for a month. I read the whole book. It gets time, but you see this number right there? That's the amount of inhabited planets in the 7 universes of which we're in one. You ever hear him talk about orbits?
I feel like we're just blocking it, you're literally just sitting out back.
Yeah, but it's good product placement. No, no worries. This is not work. This is easy.
Come back.
I'm gonna go ahead and end my YouTube. So I just wanted to thank everybody on YouTube and all the platforms for tuning in. And we will see you guys at